Recording is on.
So, hello everybody, and welcome to today's tea time training. Today we have Tor with the topic Collabora Office on Windows. Also, just a reminder that the session is being recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel. So, Tor, over to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, good afternoon, good morning, etc. Everybody. I am talking about this new Collabora Office implementation for Windows. The previous weeks you have heard corresponding talks about it on Linux and on Mac OS. And the basic idea with the app is the same as for Mac and Linux. The code written for this specific purpose is relatively small, and it uses a web view inside a window. In Windows, this API is called WebView 2 actually. In macOS, it's WK WebView, and I don't remember what's it called in Qt. And then inside this WebView window, we run the same JavaScript code as in the web-based Collabora Online, and then the C++ native code is the one that would run on the server in the web-based case, but now it runs in the same process. And the platform-specific bits that have been added to this are things related to the clipboard, creating and manipulating windows, printing, and those are the most important things, I think. The way this app works is the same as in our mobile apps for iOS and Android. Instead of having multiple processes as we do in the online server, we have just one process. And there is roughly a correspondence between what would be a process in the online server and we have a thread then in the app. And these threads send messages to each other using an API called fake socket, which is supposed to match sending messages via normal sockets between processes in the server. And this all turns out to work quite fine, even if it as such initially can be seen as a rather odd way to organize this, but it works. The code in the Windows app is currently C++ and is actually just very old-fashioned C++ code. At first, I did try to use more modern APIs and C#, but that was quite slow. And then when I quickly switched to using C++ instead, it turned out to be so much faster that I didn't regret that. But I think there are good reasons to go back to using C#. We just need to place the boundary between, or the boundary points where we switch between managed and unmanaged code in different places so that it doesn't happen so often. It used to be so that each time the JavaScript sent a message to the app, it went through this boundary, and that probably was causing quite a lot of slowness. The app is built in Visual Studio, of course, but the LibreOffice or Collabora Office core parts are built just as before using Insigwin and so on. You need to pass some new options though. This enable headless is the main thing. And the JavaScript part of online are built in an environment using WSL, the Linux subsystem for Windows, and its Node and Make and so on tools. And most of the new code is actually just in one source file. It's less than 2,000 lines of code, so it's relatively manageable. But as I mentioned, to get the new modern features, we probably should switch back to using C# and the latest window management and whatever APIs. And one thing that we do in this code is show these traditional file open and file save dialogues. And we have one project for this main executable. It compiles this new source file and then those source files from online that need to be included in this. Because of some of the code in online is quite complicated. The Visual Studio toolset didn't manage to compile them, so I used the LLVM toolset instead. But that's a built-in part of Visual Studio, so you don't really need to, or you don't really notice it very much. And the debug or release setting must match that one. That's what I used for core, because otherwise they will use different C runtime libraries and that will cause problems. And when it has built the Collabora Office executable, it copies the installation directory instdir from core and browser/dist below the location where the executable is put, and then the executable will find these DLLs and HTML and so on files that it needs. And there is also a small additional executable that's just used for printing, because it turns out that printing a PDF is very easy to do in C#, but very hard to do in C++. And the initial thing I had to do when I started working on this was to make the core work as we expect. We want to use the same rendering pipeline as in online, and that uses the free type font config and Cairo libraries, which until now had not been used on Windows in Collabora Office or LibreOffice. As such, these are quite portable libraries, so it was not really a huge job, but still there are some details in there that needed to be taken care of carefully, and some things really should be fixed even after this also. And when the core instdir is copied in the Visual Studio project, it filters out things that aren't needed, like executable files and other things. And in the app itself, as I mentioned, mixing managed and unmanaged code as such did work, but it turned out to be slow the way I initially did, so that needs to be redone. And one hard thing to get right was the management of the life cycle of Windows and of the app itself. now when there are no windows left, the app exits, and making sure that that happens was not trivial. And also more recently, then we got this welcome slideshow and the backstage HTML and JavaScript thing to show templates to choose from. Adapting to that was a bit of a challenge, but it turned out fine in the end. And much of the work done by Kendi and Sarpar and Stefan on the macOS and Linux apps turned out to be useful for me too, so thanks to them. And Andras and Miklos and Michael have also done fixes, and Quailon implemented the slideshow presenter console. And that's all I had, so now it's time for questions.
Does anyone want to go first with questions, or shall I just read from my screen? Hussein, would you like to go first?
So thanks for that presentation. It was interesting. So one question that I have is why do you use Cairo? Because I remember LibreOffice Kit was somehow working on Windows even without Cairo. Is it performance? Is it something else?
I guess the main reason is to get the same rendering as on the other platforms.
Okay.
Or do you, Michael, perhaps have any other opinion? Or Michael isn't here, I guess. No.
No, let me start to go through the people that are on my screen. That may help. So let me start. I have Armin, Attila, Miklos, Andros. Andros, any questions or comments?
Yeah, I'm in here. I'm a visual person. So same question as last week. Do you have a visual showcase and just show it running?
What?
Can you just let it run in screen share to show how it looks?
Yes, sure. Well, I was running it actually when I presented that. But
okay. Okay, thank you. I didn't know that.
I can start it in screen sharing again. I'll share entire screen. So here, this is the app now, and if I close the window, I get back here to Visual Studio.
Cool. Yeah.
And when I start it, it shows this backstage. There are currently a bug here. There should be icons here, but they are not, but they should be there. And then you can choose to open an existing file. You have some sample documents there. No. And this is a debug build, so it's much slower than normally.
Yeah, and if I got you right, it's not using tab views inside the same window yet.
Not using what?
Tabbed views, if you open a second document, it's not using that yet. That's a C# argument to make that run, right?
You can open several documents.
And then you
get... tabbed. Yes, it doesn't use tabbed UI, no.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, so it would just open a second window or...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so if I open a second document like this one, it just opens a second window.
Okay, thank you. What about the memory footprint on Windows with all this packed together compared with the binary office? Do you have an idea?
Well, I know that it generates the same log files, but otherwise it should work. Or what was your question exactly?
No, I mean for runtime. How big is the memory usage compared to the just binary office running?
I haven't actually measured, but
Okay, so that's fine. Just was curious if you have an idea.
no.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other questions or remarks from the group, that I just said, or shall I move on?
I would have one question. Just to confirm, even in debug mode, you build a core with merge libs on. Is that correct? I tried it without, and it did not really work. And build in some non-obvious way.
I don't remember. Let me check right now. I don't. I think the distro config file uses merge.
Yeah, the distro config is the releasing, so that obviously has merge libs on.
Yeah. At least for my own build, I use merge libs even in the debug build. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm not. So you mean that it has to be merge lib? It doesn't work otherwise?
I think in the past, merge libs was on for the actual release config, and one of the debug things to speed up incremental builds was this was something that you typically turned off locally for a developer, but I got some build problems here probably.
Well, at least it used to work to have non-merge libs in the debug configuration. I'm not sure then if something has broken in the meantime.
Okay, thanks. That was it.
Thanks, Miklos. Okay, let me go on to the next group. So I have Balish, Bayram, Aaron, Quaylon, and Chris. Any questions or comments? Brilliant. Coming up in the chat. No questions. Excellent. So the next group I have are Darshan, Kartik, Maya, Mervin, Mohit. Any questions? Comments? Thanks, Kartik. Thanks, Mohit. Thanks. Okay, then we have Michael Stahl, Path, and Pay and Pranam. Sorry. Any questions or comments? No.
Pranam here. No questions.
Thank you. Then we have Rash, Sahil, Sarpat, Stefan, and Timur. Any questions? Thanks, Rash.
No questions. It was a nice talk. Thanks.
Thanks, Sahil.
I dropped out in the middle, so I'm not sure, Tor, if you addressed that. One question would be, you mentioned that there's various things that are easier with C#, so would be a reason to switch. My naive understanding would be that these whatever APIs or whatever functionality would be available also for C++ in some form.
Yeah, it's possible. I haven't really looked into them that much, but one thing that I'm fairly sure is that this printing a PDF file is not really possible to do like in a same way from using C++ only. But I might be wrong there also.
I would have thought that the APIs would be the bindings might be nicer with the more modern languages, but that everything would in principle be available via C++ as well. But I have no ideas actually. I just was curious. Okay, thanks.
I have a comment. First, thank you for making this really available and possible. This is an information for on the current status, which I also am aware of only now. So the package was published on Microsoft Store, currently under the name Collabora Office Desktop, which is not the full proper name. It should be just Collabora Office, but there are some issues with renaming it. So I'm saying this because if you type in Microsoft Store to search Collabora or Collabora Office, you will not find the package. You must somehow type Collabora Desktop, which is very strange. And by looking into that, I saw that typing Office will return different Microsoft Offices and some WPS, which I'm of course aware of. Some I've never heard of, like Mobi Office, Need Office, Easy Office, whatever. But it will not return either Collabora Office in any variant or LibreOffice. So it seems that Microsoft is a little bit, how to say, single-handed there. Thank you.
Thank you. The last three that I have is Vivek, JL, and Justin. Any comments or questions? No.
I want to ask something. So we are saying native web view.
Hello?
Sahil, are you still there? No, it looks like he may have lost connection. Is there anybody else that would like to ask a question or make any sort of comments at all? No? Okay. Sahil, are you back with us? No, it looks like Sahil's having an issue. Okay, everyone. So if there's no more comments and questions, I'd just like to say thank you to Tor for presenting and thank you for everyone attending.
Thanks, Tor. Good work. Happy hacking.
Oh, Michael, any questions?
No. Why didn't I turn up on time? That would be my question. So I'll have to watch the recording. Awesome stuff. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.